Today, we're talking cold weather backpacking sleeping bags. Let's go. Welcome to Lone Crow Adventures, the channel where we talk about all things camping, hiking, and backpacking. If it's your first time here, consider hitting that subscribe button. There's a ton of great content on this channel I know that you'll enjoy. Today, I thought I would show you guys the sleeping bag that I use for cold weather backpacking, and it is the North Face Furnace 20-degree bag. So let's get this bad girl out of this bag, and I'll show you all about it. Introducing the Furnace 20-degree down sleeping bag. This is the North Face Furnace 20-degree sleeping bag. This sleeping bag has been specifically engineered for backpacking. It has a 600 fill goose down as the insulation, which allows for a lighter weight, and it's also super compressible. So you can put it easily into one of those sleeping bag compartments on the bottom of your backpack like you just saw in the previous segment, or if you take it out of this compression sack, you can easily stuff it around that other gear that's in the main compartment of your pack. The weight on this item comes in at 2 pounds and 12 ounces. This honestly is a great sleeping bag. I've been using this for the past 3 seasons and it has not disappointed me yet. So let's get this thing unpacked and I will show you all about it. Comes with a pretty decent sized compression bag. It easily fits right back inside. I know a lot of you backpackers out there aren't crazy about the compression sack because it does add a couple more ounces to your pack weight. So if you want to ditch it, that's fine. This bag will definitely compress down really well amongst the rest of the gear that you have in your pack. We have the sleeping bag all laid out, and this is the basic color that it comes in. I believe it's only offered in this one color, which is a blue and kind of a slate gray, but I really like that color because it holds up really well to dust, dirt, and other things that kind of make your gear look dirty over time. So I've been using this sleeping bag for the last 3 years and it looks still pretty much brand new. The exterior of the sleeping bag is made out of a ripstop polyester nylon blend, and it is also water resistant. Not waterproof, water resistant. It's also important to remember it's down. Definitely do not get this sleeping bag wet. One of the first things that you'll notice about the North Face Furnace sleeping bag is that it is a mummy shaped sleeping bag. So it has a vaulted foot box down here. It has a nice draft collar around the top, and it has an integrated hood. So those 3 things are going to help to keep you warm. One of the other features you'll notice about the North Face Furnace sleeping bag is this little pocket right here. It's an integrated little pocket, just a small pocket, perfect for you to fit things in that you want to keep warm with the heat of your own body, like a phone, a battery pack, or your GPS, because we all know in the cold weather those battery operated items die really quickly. So it's nice that they've included an option for you to keep them warm throughout the night with your own body heat. So that integrated little pocket is great for that. Let's take a minute and we'll talk about the insulation properties of this sleeping bag. As I said before, this is a 600 Pro down fill sleeping bag, so it's nice and lightweight and nice and warm, and the top of this sleeping bag feels nice and lofty. On the bottom of the sleeping bag, you'll notice it doesn't feel nearly as lofty as the top, and that's because the insulating material that is sewn into the bottom of the sleeping bag is actually an eco heat seeker synthetic insulation. You might be thinking, oh, actually that's a good thing. When down becomes compressed, as when your body lays on it, it loses significantly more insulative properties than a synthetic material that's compressed. So this synthetic material on the bottom is actually going to help keep you warmer when it's compressed. The other thing to keep in mind with any sleeping bag is that you have to select a camping mat that has an R value that is relative to the temperatures that you're going to be using the sleeping bag and sleeping mat together in. If you don't have a good R value mat, it doesn't matter what temperature degree your sleeping bag is rated for, you're still going to be cold. All right, so it's time to kick off the boots and jump inside of this sleeping bag so that I can give you a little bit more perspective while I'm inside of the bag. So it's pretty easy to get into. Just slide right down into the bottom. One of the difficult parts of this bag, in my opinion, is this zipper. It seems to be cooperating with me today, but I've had situations where this zipper will get caught on these draft baffles that are sewn in. You'll notice here we have some draft baffles that are sewn in and designed to kind of lay across the zipper to keep those drafts from coming through the zipper material. And sometimes those have a tendency to get kind of caught. It's working okay today. Now at the top we have a little Velcro to keep this closed, and then we have our hood. I'm just going to take my hat off. Get inside the hood. All right, now I feel like I'm ready for a nap. So you can adjust the hood. There is an adjustment point right here with a toggle. I don't know if you can see this, but the little toggle right here that you can pull, and it has two adjustments. You have this blue cord here. You pull and you can adjust that, and what that's going to do is that's going to cinch up the collar that's around your throat, or the giraffe collar that's down here. And then the other adjuster is this orange cord, and it's going to cinch up the top of the hood. So you can cinch this up really small, so that way only your mouth is hanging out and everything else is covered. Now I can feel the heat starting to come up and stay trapped inside of the sleeping bag right now. Super comfy, and it's easy enough if I want to roll over in this sleeping bag like such. That's easy enough to get out of. These mummy bags, when I come out of them, I always feel like I'm birthing out of the sleeping bag. You know, they're so tight. I just can't wait to get my arms out. Now, one of the nice things about this sleeping bag too is it does have the option to vent. I'll show you that here. So at the bottom, it has a second zipper, and you can vent this up. And what you can do here is that you can keep your upper body nice and toasty, but if you notice that you start to sweat or you start to overheat, but you don't want to have drafts coming and stealing that heat away from your upper body, you can vent the bottom of the sleeping bag just to allow a little bit of coolness in there. And then once you've cooled off again, you just zipper right back up, so this way you can keep your hood and everything else on. I'll show you an up close of these adjusters here too, which are color coded for convenience. So you notice this is the draft collar here, which is this small piece of blue material that's sewn at the top, and it is adjusted with the blue, so you can pull it nice and close, and what that's going to do is it's going to cinch it up right nice and close to your chin. Now to adjust the opening on the hood itself, we use the orange, and this is an elastic, and it's going to cinch up nice and tight, so that way basically you can just have your itty bitty little nose poking out if that's all you want. I want to show you guys the zipper draft baffle up close so that you can see. So you'll see that this is the material on the inside of the sleeping bag, and then we have this extra material here, and what it's designed to do is it is designed to kind of hang out right in the area of the zipper here, so that way the wind and cold air is going to be hopefully kind of held on the exterior with this dark blue baffle here. But you can kind of see with having this extra bulky material, how it's easy for this to kind of overlap when you're zipping, and then next thing you know, boom, it's stuck in the zipper. So you just have to kind of just pull it out and back it off. Make sure you have it folded under, and then it can zip, no problems at all. Another one of the features with this bag is it does feature a hanging loop, and it features a single hanging loop. Some sleeping bags will feature 2 hanging loops at the bottom of the foot box. This one just has 1 hanging loop, and it just kind of hangs up either in your garage or your closet or wherever you keep your down products, because we're not keeping them compressed while we're storing them, are we? No, 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 don't do that. But it does feature a hanging hook. That way you can just make sure that this down maintains its loft when you're storing it in between uses. So let's talk about the temperature ratings on this sleeping bag, and generally what temperature ratings kind of mean in general. When it comes to any cold weather sleeping bag, the temperatures that are listed on the bag are temperatures in which they will keep you alive and safe, not necessarily warm. So keep that in mind when you're planning your next cold weather backpacking trip. This bag is rated to 20 degrees Fahrenheit minus 7 degrees Celsius. The comfort rating, and it's listed right here on the front of the bag, you'll notice there's these comfort ratings here. The comfort rating on this bag is 26 degrees Fahrenheit. So what that means is that you can be warm and pretty comfortable at 26 degrees, but as you start to approach that limit closer to 20, you may find yourself chilly. Now, it also lists a limit on this bag, and what that limit means is that is the limit at which that bag is going to keep you alive and prevent basically frostbite coming to your toes and fingers in the middle of the night, which is 14 degrees. So that's why it's really important when you're planning your backpacking trip that you know what the coldest temperatures are that you're going to expect, and that you plan for temperatures a little colder than that, like I said, just in case your local weatherman is wrong. Now, I have used this sleeping bag in a wide variety of different situations. The coldest that I personally have ever used this sleeping bag was 16 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was cold. It was very cold. I was able to get to sleep, but it was one of those kinds of sleeps where you curl up into a ball inside of your sleeping bag and you don't even want to move because you're scared any heat is going to escape. So at 16 degrees, it was cold. I'm alive. I didn't have any physical damage or, nothing happened, but it was cold. So when you're using this sleeping bag, or with any sleeping bag in general, the closer that you get down to its rating, and if you go down below what it's rated for, you're going to have to also dress appropriately. So you're going to have your underlayers, you're going to have a nice insulated vest, definitely have some kind of a beanie to keep the heat inside of your body, and that will help to keep you warm. Let's rate the North Face Furnace 20 degree down sleeping bag on a 5-point scale. This sleeping bag, hands down, gets a 4.5 out of 5 crow rating. It's been an excellent, excellent sleeping bag. I've used it for the past 3 seasons. I'm getting ready to head into the 4th season with it. I'm not looking at replacing this piece of equipment. It works fantastic. The only drawback with this sleeping bag, in my opinion, is the zipper draft. It is so annoying because it does get stuck in the zipper with quite a bit of frequency. So you really have to make sure when you go to unzip that sleeping bag that you just fold that draft zipper up so that it's not going to get stuck in that zipper. It's easy to get it unstuck when it does get stuck, but I find that's the one problem I seem to run into with the sleeping bag on a fairly consistent basis. But overall, it's held up. I mean, I abuse my equipment for the most part. I'm not a careful person, and there's been no rips, no snags, no tears. The zipper still works great after 3 seasons, and I really like the versatility of this sleeping bag. I use this sleeping bag from early spring through most of the early part of the summer, and then I'll switch to I'm in the Midwest, it's really hot, so I'll switch to a lighter temperature rated bag. But then in the fall, I start using this sleeping bag again, and then straight through the winter. And in the warmer temperatures, honestly, I just unzip it and I just vent it. I take the hood off, and sometimes in the temperatures in like the 60s, for instance, I'll just pull it over top of me like it was a top quilt and leave it completely unzipped. For the price, under $200, it's a really versatile sleeping bag that you can use in virtually almost any conditions. Now, if you're thinking about checking out a little bit more about the North Face 20 degree bag, I have included some links in the description below, so make sure you check those out. Well, thanks for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I hope that I've inspired you to go try some cold weather backpacking. If you haven't already done so, hit that subscribe button. There is a ton of great content on this channel. And while you're here, may as well check out a few of my other videos. Until next time, folks, we'll see you on the trail.